Hello guys, and welcome to my Draw My Life video. So glad you can join us, so enjoy the beautiful artwork that I'm about to show you. My name is Jason Chan, and I was born in April 12th of 1991 in Hong Kong, and there I lived my first years of my life with my lovely mother and father. I don't remember a lot when I was young, but I knew that I always liked to stick out my tongue when taking pictures. I was quite naughty indeed. I didn't talk or say anything until I was 3, which made my mother panic a lot. I guess I wasn't a typical little kid when growing up. One of the most memorable moments was when I was 5 and I was watching TV. I saved a cookie for my dad to come home from work. A few moments later, the cookie disappeared and I started being frantic and was yelling at people where it went. My domestic helper laughed quite hard and said, I was the one who ate it, but I forgot I did. Silly Jason. Primary school went by pretty quickly and I remember bullying kids at school. I guess I thought I was a badass or something, but that quickly changed when my mother and I moved to Vancouver in grade 4. We were living in a large house compared to Hong Kong's tiny apartments, and it was one of the best times in my life. Even though I didn't know any English, I quickly learned it in my ESL classes and began to socialize and meet a lot of friends. It was also this time where I started discovering computer games. I remember going to my cousin's place and he was playing Warcraft 3. I asked him what it was because it looked super cool. And so I grabbed my copy of the game and with confidence and amazement went home and started loading it up. When I finished the human campaign, I thought I was the best gamer ever. Then the undead campaign came up and I saw the necromancer unit summon a skeleton. I was so afraid of that unit and it freaked me out. And then it gave me nightmares for the longest time until I finally decided to finish the game again a few months later. High school came around in no time and me and my mother decided to go back to Hong Kong so that we can live with my dad as well. I had to go to an international school because my Chinese sucked a lot now and I had to make new friends all over again. I didn't mind making fun of myself and I found myself knowing everybody in the grade and belonging in a few circles. This was the start of my World of Warcraft days as well, where I would be very excited to go home every day from school and raid my guild, with some of my classmates also in the guild. The fondest memories I had was not screwing up in the Solarian boss fight, where everybody manages to do and blows us up high in the air. Everything was going awesome, from making friends to doing good in school and gaming after that, but then everything stopped when I learned my mother was diagnosed with intestinal cancer. It has developed into a very late stage before we could figure it out, but back then I didn't know what that was. My mom was very important to me and I was just confused about what to do and everything. When I graduated from high school, my mother wasn't even supposed to be in the graduating ceremony because she was in the hospital, but she came anyways and told me that I am her greatest accomplishment in life. I didn't know what to say back then. I chose to go to University of Waterloo to study math afterwards because prestige is important amongst my peer groups and studying math means you should go there. I would call my mother every day, but I knew she was suffering from chemotherapy and it was hard for me and her as well. One day after a lot of thinking, I called my dad and told him that we should stop the therapy because she is suffering too much and I don't want that anymore. In a few days, my mother wasn't picking up the phone anymore and shortly after, my dad called one day and told me that she passed away. Although I should have been mentally prepared for that, I couldn't stop crying. I told myself that I should just focus on my studies and everything would be fine. Turns out that wasn't the case. I would start skipping classes, sleeping in the mornings, and not caring about anything. The one thing, however, that kept me going was looking forward to raiding and WoW every day. Me and my friends would talk about starting up our own guild, and it gradually turned into one where I would be guild master and raid leader. Although it was sort of an escapism from my real life, the times I played the game kept me happy and excited. This went on for 2 more years until I finally decided that I needed change in my life. I decided to put my university on pause and fly back to Hong Kong to be with my family, and I also needed to work, so I asked my uncle for an office job. I soon found out that it was really boring and I needed to do something in my life I was good at. It was at this point I was determined to really forget about the past and focus on the present. So I buckled down, played the saxophone, which I was always pretty good at, and got a diploma and would eventually get a lot of kids to tutor and make some money. I also worked on a board game called Scribes Arena based on an idea I had way back in high school. I put it on Kickstarter and actually achieved its goal. Everything seemed to go along just fine, and then an interesting game called Hearthstone was announced. As a big fan of card games and a Blizzard fanboy as well. I would be following the alpha and beta scenes very closely and would want to do something more of the game. When I played with a friend and talked about him with mechanics and whatnot, he told me that maybe I should start streaming. Back then I had no idea what streaming was, so I looked into it and just started making my own channel. I was pretty lucky to queue a lot of my games into a popular streamer named Archon. Some of those viewers decided to look at my channel and liked what they see. Afterwards, everything just built on from there. From my early streaming days in February, starting with 10 viewers to the 20,000 viewers and upwards I have these days is such a quick and sudden change. I never expected this to grow so fast, and the community is just awesome to be around. I have never looked forward to streaming so much when I was doing other stuff in the day, like teaching saxophone or when I was eating my meals. So now here I am, playing a game for a living, where some might call it even a dream job. I am grateful for the success I have, because I know that I've been pretty lucky and a lot of events taking place at the right time. I'm sure if my mother was still here, she would have been proud of me. What's in the future for me? Who knows? But I would continue gaming and interacting with the community as much as I can. My hobby ever since I was young was to play games because it challenges my mind and keeps it active, and that has turned into a passion really quickly. I want to thank everybody who supports me and are supporting me still and keeping my dream alive. Lastly, I want to say that everybody will have their own personal challenges, and they might come in many forms. As long as we find solutions and overcome them, no matter how long it takes, it will turn out fine in the end. Stay positive, take advantage of opportunities, and until next time, thank you so much for watching. I will see you soon.